What's up, guys? Erudite again, back with another video. And today I want to talk about something that a lot of you guys have been asking me about for a while, and I'm finally getting around to it. Better late than never, right? And that is finances. And I could not really think of a more apropos time to do it than now with the current financial circumstances that the country is in and the trucking industry in specific. I read that there is approximately 59% of the American population that could not handle an emergency, unexpected $1,000 expense. That's scary because that could happen to almost anybody. Something pops up, you had your vehicle could break down, you have a medical emergency that you need to take care of, you got sick, missed some time at work, got injured. There's all kinds of things that can happen. Now, with us being truck drivers specifically, with rates going up and down, it may not be a financial emergency, something hits you right away, but it may be something where, hey, your check is inconsistent if you're driving based off of mileage or if you're driving based off of percentage or all kinds of other things that can happen. If the weather's bad, you get stranded somewhere and you can't drive, make your delivery for a couple of days or whatever. Things happen every year, all the time. One of the ways that I set myself up and have built an emergency fund over the years is through the use of a high yield savings account. And I'm going to talk about the benefits of that and why I think every driver or every person really should be having this as a vehicle to get their money right on the side and not have to worry when you have an unexpected situation or an emergency. Now, I need to give a quick disclaimer, guys, before we get any further into this topic. First things first, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you financial advice. You need to make sure that you do your own research and figure out what is right for you and your finances before you go anywhere spending any money or placing it in any kind of financial vehicle, all right? I'm just discussing one of the tactics that has worked for me over the years and has helped me out to achieve some of the goals that I have regarding this matter. Now, let's get back to it. Now, as company drivers, we may not have to worry about the overhead of running a truck. That's for the companies to do. But we all have our personal lives outside of the cab where we have to cover expenses on a regular basis. So whether that is your mortgage, your rent, your children's tuition, or just general expenses of life, gas and electric or whatever you may be paying for. If you miss a couple of days of work, or you don't get dispatched on a day, or you get hurt, all kinds of things that can happen to you. Missing those couple of days can make your check that may be regular or not seem very thin very quickly. And that's where an emergency fund comes in to help give you the peace of mind and the financial security of being able to cover those expenses without going into debt via things like a payday loan or swiping a credit card that you may or may not have the liquid cash to pay off when the statement is due. But beyond that, where do you keep that money? Not just in a place where it is sitting and ready for you to use, but somewhere where it will be sitting and also growing at the same time, making more money for you while you're off doing other things. Most people put their money for their emergency fund in a standard savings account. You can find those at any of the major brick and mortar banks where you can drive into a branch and deposit money in person. Now, those are not optimal because the interest rate, the APY, annual percentage yield on those accounts is so low. At least at the point of recording this video, it's like 0.01%, and that is like no money at all. Like, just say for example, if you took a round number like $1,000, if you had $1,000 in your savings account at 0.01% interest, after a year of your money being in there, you would only get like 10 cents back in interest. Versus a high yield savings account, the interest rate on those can vary depending on which bank you would be going with, but you could find rates that would be common as like 3.5% APY, 3.8, and maybe a few of them out there at 4% APY, really just depending on what the financial market is like at the moment. Now, the reason for that is the online banks do not have all of the overhead costs of paying for an actual building and all the expenses that go along with real estate, paying employees that have to show up in person. So all of that money that they are not spending actually gets reinvested or paid back to the customers of the bank via the high yield savings accounts. Or at least that's my understanding of it. I don't think I'm too far off. Correct me in the comments if I'm off a little bit. I would like to know. Always willing to learn. Say that same $1,000 in a high yield savings account for a year at that number that I gave you, 3.5 to 3.8 APY. Let's use that number, or those two numbers roughly. That would give you about $38 after having your money just sitting in there for a year. Now, you may think that that's not a lot of money, but really think about what I just said. 0.1 interest, 10 cents for $1,000 versus 3.5, 3.8, $38 for your 1,000. Now just imagine the cumulative effect of that with the compound interest. So if you're adding more money, however much you feel comfortable having your emergency fund totaled at, that money, the compound interest is really where, investors and people that are trying to build wealth or grow their money, which is really a topic for another video later on that I might get into. But the compound interest really, when it works in your favor, just imagine the cumulative effect of that over time. That's money that you got for doing no work other than depositing your money into that account and letting it sit there for however long you want to. You're getting paid that money every month whenever the statement closes or whenever the bank decides to pay it. But on a monthly basis, you're getting interest for the money that you have sitting. As company drivers, we're already working hard. You need to be making your money work hard for you as well. As truck drivers, we do not have a lot of time. That's why I really like savings accounts, specifically high yield savings accounts with the increased interest that you can make on your money that you have sitting there. Because with a lot of us working up to 14 hours a day, and I know some people out there may stretch it a little bit longer than that, but we don't have the time necessarily to watch the stock market or other investments. If you're looking to just have a way to have a hands-free or hands-off way of putting some money aside and letting it grow for you, before you take that money and invest it in other places, or take that money and use it for an emergency where you may need it right then. A high yield savings account is a great vehicle for that, because like I said, it does not take a whole lot of mind power and a whole lot of focus beyond just picking the right place for you to put that money initially. Set it and forget it, and you could even set your paycheck to do automatic withdrawals to take money directly from your checking account and put it in your savings account on regular intervals, like every payday, or you could just do it manually whenever you're ready to go ahead and put some of that money over. That way, by doing that, when that emergency or unexpected event occurs, you've already got a dedicated fund with money that you've been diligently stacking away, ready for you to use at your will. When it comes to selecting an online bank to have your high yield savings account through, there are a lot of options for you to research and filter through. What I prefer to use, though, is SoFi Bank, because in addition to their high yield savings account, they also offer a high yield checking account. So every dollar that I have parked there is earning interest and making me money. In addition to that, they are FDIC insured, just like a traditional bank. And one other selling point for me with them is that they have early payment systems. So if you have your high yield checking and savings account through them and your direct deposit tied to them, you could get paid up to 2 days early. So if you get paid normally on Friday, you could get paid on Thursday or Wednesday. And who does not want to have their money as soon as possible, right? If you're curious about SoFi and you want to support this channel at the same time, I've left an affiliate link down below in the description, and you can go ahead and open up your own accounts and take that next step towards building your emergency fund. So here's the takeaway, guys. As truck drivers, we cannot afford to allow ourselves to be in that 59% of Americans that do not have $1,000 ready for an emergency. Take your time, start building that emergency fund, and use a high yield savings account to help you get there a little bit faster, a little bit easier, without lifting a finger. Now, keep in mind also that this is not financial advice. This is just some of the stuff that I have done for myself to prevent myself from getting in a situation like that where I am without money in the event of an emergency. Do your own research, figure out your finances, do what's right for you and your personal situation. Well, that wraps it up, guys. If you got value from this content, Make sure that you hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this in the future that helps truckers think smart both on and off the road. So until the next time, I appreciate you all as always. Erudite Trucker out.